Brilliant from Kennedy. Couldn't resist the shot, and it's got it off the defender!
Determined, you lose your little player. And it's in, it's a goal from Gilmour. Jimmy Gilmour has scored for Falkirk.
Finnegan's cross, Stephen Thompson! Falkirk have the lead after a quarter of an hour!
McKenzie slips, it goes straight to McGuffey. McGuffey shoots from his own half, and that is incredible!
He's taking them all on here. Catch him if you can. You can't. That is amazing. That is phenomenal. A touch of individual inspiration from Kevin McAllister.
This is Falkirk Daft.
Sloppy and wasteful. No, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not talking about Ross Wain's sex life. I'm talking about Falkirk's performance against Annan yesterday. Hello, and welcome to Falkirk Daft. We hope you enjoyed our extra episode this week when we met Sam McGivern. If you've not heard it yet, check out your podcast feed. It's sitting there just begging to be listened to. I'm your host, John McInally, and as ever, joined by the Ginger God of Pod, not the original Ginger God, which is, of course, Sammy McGivern. He's a one-man band in the main stand, Mr. Ross Vitality himself, Ross Wain, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. McInally. You good?
I'm good, mate. I am very good. Didn't see you yesterday because obviously you were in hospitality. I can see if you're watching the YouTube version, however, I am extremely jealous because there is a picture of Ross Wain in between a Brad Spencer and Tom Laing sandwich. Wow, look at that. I mean, what did he smell like, Ross? Tell me. I mean, did he smell beautiful?
It was cinnamon and manhood. Yeah, cinnamon and manhood. The big guy was good. Brad was brilliant as well. Alan Dick, who is the host in the Wasteful Lounge, he did make a point of saying before I went up to collect the framed armband that my co-host would have been extremely jealous. The fact that I'm in the lounge, and I got a couple of bear hugs off him as well, John. I'm not going to lie to you.
I mean, the restraining order obviously doesn't allow me to be within a few feet of Tom Laing. So, I mean, like, I don't know what I would have done if it, at that moment, it's like that kind of seeing glazed eyes across the room as running towards each other and to celebrate as man of the match. Well, it was Leon McCann who got man of the match, actually.
Leon came up as well as Calvin Miller.
Okay.
So it was great to hear from all four of them, to be honest with you. And Sammy was there with Derek McWilliams.
Brilliant. What a time to be alive.
Really, really good to hear from every single player that came up yesterday.
Yeah, no, great. I can't believe you got to meet Big Tom. Was he asking after me, aye?
He was asking after you, yes.
Good. I love you, Tom. Love you. Listen, unbelievable. We are absolutely shocked, and we've got to say a big thanks to everyone listening to this podcast who's actually going to come and see us live at Behind the Wall. We put up the tickets for Falkirk Daft Live's end of season party, and we put them up. I think it was just on Eventbrite, and we did that last Sunday. By the time the episode went out, we'd shifted half of them, and then by the time the episode actually landed, they were all gone. All 100 tickets were gone, absolutely exceeding our expectations. So we spoke to Brian at Behind the Wall, and we said, what can we do? There's because a lot of people were messaging Ross, a lot of people were messaging Brian, myself, going, I couldn't get tickets. So what we did decide, we thought we'd go for a bit of terracing, take it back to the Brockville style, and we've removed all the seating. There will still be seats in the bar area if you want to sit down and what have you, but it's all going to be standing now on Friday, the 3rd of May, the day before the Alloa game. There's 14 tickets left. The last count I looked at, only 14 tickets. So if you're listening to this podcast right now and you fancy coming along for a bit of a party night, it's going to be a good night. Get involved. Head to the links below or in the description. You can buy your tickets there. Be quick though, because like I say, only 14 tickets left. I felt like the Taylor Swift of Falkirk, Ross. How quickly the tickets sold.
I think the ticket sales going quick is the only thing we've got in common with Taylor Swift.
That's true. That's true. You bringing your guitar along in the night, aye?
No, just my recorder.
Right. Okay. I would pay good money for you to play it. Like, you are my Falkirk on the recorder. Please make it happen.
Well, there was chat from Graham on last week. Graham Stewart, who was on last week, he mentioned that Alison Oliver, who's one of the hospitality hosts at the stadium, she knows someone that can that can do the I don't know what the instrument is. Ed Graham mentioned it, but it's the to do with the McKeever song. I don't know what.
That was a trumpet. I would
Was
suspect.
it a trumpet or something. So she knows someone that can play that. So maybe we need to get them along.
Maybe we should form a band on the night, get away some Falkirk tunes and go. Who knows? What I will tell you, however, the plans are well underway. We're going to have a season review, and we have asked our very special guest from the last podcast, this Falkirk Daft Meets Sam McGivern. He is going to do our season review with us, and we'll be getting you guys involved with that as well if you're coming along. We thought we'd have a bit of a theme as well. If on the night you could wear a retro Falkirk top, that would be brilliant. We're going to be wearing ours. Feel free to wear yours as well. It'd be great to have loads of different Falkirk tops out there on the night. What else is going to happen? We're going to have a bit of quiz. And very exciting. Fingers crossed, and it's a big fingers crossed, that the league is wrapped up by that Friday, because that means we're going to be joined by 2 players as yet to be decided, or a couple of, maybe even 3 players from the club who are going to come along and do a bit of a Q&A. We'll obviously ask them about the season and what have you. Then that's the night before the Alloy game. So really good night. Few tickets left. Like I say, only 14 as we're recording this Sunday night. So get on. The link's below, and we'll see you down there for what is going to be a cracking night, fingers crossed. And hopefully by that time the league is in the bag and we're just celebrating. That would be delightful. Ross, what else is going on?
So the news last week was that we've got another TV game added. So as we know, we've got a few TV games coming up. We've got Queen of the South away, middle of March. Montrose, which could potentially be a big weekend for the club, depending on results between now and then. That's going to be on TV. However, the BBC Alba are obviously hedging their bets, and they're going to cover the Cove Rangers home match on April the 6th as well. So that one's been moved to 5:30 the Saturday night, as if we needed more Saturday afternoon alcohol time. The boys at BBC Alba have sorted that for us. So hopefully that could potentially be an amazing celebration day, or it could even be the day it happens. So we just need to wait and see how results go between now and then. But BBC Alba making sure, I think they're obviously hedging their bets as to where this potentially could happen.
Fingers crossed that it does happen sooner rather than later. We'll get into the Annan game just in a minute. We've got obviously Stirling Albion next week, and Rob Fleming, big friend of the podcast, has been in touch. He's mad in his cricket as Rob. I've met him a couple of times down at Steny Cricket Club, but he says that Stirling Cricket Club have reached out and have said in recent visits to Forth Bank, many Falkirk fans have lamented there are no local drinking holes nearby to enjoy a pre-match drink. So we've negotiated with Stirling County Cricket Club to be open from 12 noon for fans. It's just behind the ground there. There'll also be complimentary sandwich and soup for the first come first served basis. There you go. Unfortunately, the club will not be open after the game as they've got a private function, but it's just behind the hockey pitch. It's the away terrace. You'll see it. You can see it from there, and they'll be going to show the Man United Everton game there as well. So if you're looking for somewhere for a couple of wee swifters before the match on Saturday, there you go. Stirling County Cricket Club is going to be open for you, and you'll see Rob there, and he says he's going to buy everyone a drink. That might not be true.
Did he say?
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that, by the way, just in case you tap him on the shoulder and go, Rob, where's my free drink? That's not happening. But it's a cricket club, so it's bound to be cheap drink, isn't it?
Should be cheaper. Yeah, it should be cheaper than most. So that's a good shout out by Rob, and there will be a big crowd heading through to Stirling.
Yeah, I mean the last crowd was mental. I mean it was literally a home game, and it will feel like that again this Saturday, I suspect. We talked Falkirk Daft Meets. We did Sammy McGivern. Look out in a few weeks' time. We're going to try and do one of these once a month, and I've been reaching out to a few people, using a few contacts that I have to get some big names, and fingers crossed we can confirm them over the next couple of weeks. But Tam the Man McManus, we spoke to him this week. Great guy, some brilliant stories. Wait to hear the story he tells about Anthony Stokes, Scott Higgins, and Carl Dodd. Honestly, it's like a cracker. You're going to hear that at the end of the month, Tam McMahon, so look out for that on your podcast feed or YouTube. Right, it's competition corner time. We've got a couple of competitions that we've had on the go. Our monthly competition, of course, is for the FSS members. If you are joined up to the FSS and you don't know why you wouldn't be, 889 members now of the FSS. Well done, every single one of you. Remember that all the money goes into the playing budget. it's over 25%. We now hold in terms of shares at the club. So brilliant news. And obviously the money helps so much. It'll help with John McGlynn and his playing squad for next season. So get involved if you haven't. And what also entails you get entered into our fantastic prize draw, which we do every month on Falkirk Daft. Right, Ross, I put into the supercomputer 889. I will share my screen. If you are listening to the podcast version, this will make no odds to you, but just so everyone else can see, we're going to get the screen. We've got the random number generator. There is no Ukrainian woman on it today. Right, okay. What is our prizes for this evening, Ross?
Yes, well, we've got 3 prizes that have came from the Falkirk Sports Society. So we have a behind the wall voucher, courtesy of Brian Flynn.
Thank you, Brian.
Whoever wins, they may even want to save it and use it that night on the 3rd of May. That would help with the drinks tokens that night, or if they're grabbing a pizza. We have 2 speakers night tickets now. Obviously, so that's 4 in total that we'll be giving away tonight, because obviously we got 2 tickets from Graham Stewart and Paddy Haney and Graham Carbis last week. However, the FSS have got 2 tickets to the speakers night, which is happening this Friday, the 8th of March.
I will be there.
You will be there indeed. And then last but not least, the boardroom experience for 2 for I assume an upcoming home game. I don't know.
And you'll definitely meet Ross there if you'll definitely meet Ross there.
No, listen, I'm done. I'm done.
Oh no, I don't believe you for a second. Right, okay.
So yeah, that's the 3 prizes. So John, if you
hit
if you want to
the generator, so between 1 and 889, and the first person winning the behind the wall vouchers is number 749.
749. We have a Ewan Harvey. Well done, Ewan.
Go on yourself, Ewan. You are going to behind the wall for some free booze and some food. Right, okay, this is for the Speakers Night tickets happening this Friday at the Enshire, Peter Martin. There's a few, I think there's just a handful of tickets left for that. So if you want to get on that, falkirkfc.co.uk, you get your tickets there. All the money, I believe, is going into the Academy. So
yes, 100% of it. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, it's a great fundraiser. Right, okay, going to the Speakers Night is number 599.
599. We have Thomas Steele. Well done, Thomas.
Well done, Tommy Steele. Fantastic. I wonder if he's related to Derek or Scott Steele. Maybe. Right, okay, and finally, this is for the boardroom experience for 2, and it's going to number 155.
155 is a Graham Gardner. Really well done, Graham.
Ah, no, big Graham Gardner, Big G. There we go. Are we excluding friends and family? It's Big G that's won that. No, he would be.
If it was family, maybe.
I bet Andy's like 6'7" and would thump me. So, Big G, well done. You are going to hospitality. There you go. Right, okay. Competition corner. We've actually got another 2 tickets for the Folk Speakers Night and 2 tickets for the final home match against Alloa for the runner-up. We asked on last week's show how many sponsors make up the Legends stand at Falkirk Stadium, and the answer is, of course,
it was 6.
Can you name all 6, Ross?
I hopefully can. So
Go.
Russell Matipe, Sam McGovern, why am I struggling? So I've done Yogi, Sam, Russell, Simon, Tiger McLaughlin,
and
why am I struggling, John? Why am I struggling? I want to say it's not. Oh my God!
I'll give it. Andy Nicol, well done. Didn't need my help, so there you go.
Wow, that was pressure. You had to go over it. That was panic.
Right, okay. Who's getting the Alloa tickets then?
So Alloa tickets. So we got loads of answers sent in through DMs, etc. So the Alloa tickets is going to Alex Rosenberg. Really well done.
Well done, Alex.
And the Speakers Night, the 2 tickets for the Speakers Night is going to a Barry Sutherland. Really well done, Barry. And in terms of both those winners, what we'll do is I'll drop them a DM and I'll give them an email address for Paddy at the club, and they can drop Paddy an email. The
It's
only
all right,
thing I'd
Ross, we can do all this off here. The people don't need to know about the behind the scenes admin, right? Okay, you just sort that out. You do you, right? Okay. We'll get into the Annan game. We've got our guest pundit on his way. Scott Watson's going to join us. But first, he's been back in touch, hasn't he? The bold Dennon Lewis has been back in touch. He's in a happy place, I think. Let's get Dennon's email up and we'll just say what he said. He's a regular. If you've not heard this before, Dennon Lewis, our former. Was he a striker? Was he a midfielder? We don't know. I don't think he knew either. But anyway, he loves the podcast, listens every week, and he's been in touch. He says, "Hi guys, with Woking having a rare Saturday off, I was able to watch the live stream for my new favourite side, Annan Athletic." Dennon. Playing against our very own Falkirk. How Falkirk clung on till the 94th minute, I will never know. My agent has been in touch letting the Annan board know my desire to be part of their promotion-winning side next season. It's obvious that they all need is a bit of Dennon genius to set them apart from the rest of that division. The ball is in their court and I'm waiting for their call. Anyway, my favourite invited guest of all time from your podcast is your Montrose friend who speaks so lucidly on the beautiful game after his appearance near the start of the season when he brilliantly analysed Falkirk as pish and Montrose as premier quality. But better, I had to reach out to him by email to say how much I agreed with his clear-sighted and objective views and to also let him know that he's not the only person to recognise what a brilliant piece of business it was for Montrose to put Kane Hester away from Elgin City. Poor old Real Madrid, another one of their targets cruelly snatched. I asked the Clear Vision one, what is it he drinks along with the Madrid tears? I wanted to drink that too. Imagine my surprise when he told me he was teetotal. Wow. He went on to tell me that there was nothing he enjoys more on a match day than a hearty bowl of homemade mushroom soup using the fresh mushrooms that he grows in his own back garden. He described them as magic, and who would I be to disagree? He also mentioned that when Hamilton were at Montrose earlier this season, he invited the only two Ackies YouTube podcasters over to join him for a pre-match bowl. The only two Ackies were so impressed that they demanded the mat recipe, and they both now also find it difficult to watch a Hamilton game without some of the mushroom soup beforehand. Apparently they do, however, complain that they can't find any mushrooms in the Hamilton area quite as magic as those in Montrose. Up you hell rat! Love, Dennon.
There we go. Yeah, always a nice bit. Piece of correspondence from.
Thank you, Dennon. Love your work as usual. I really need to find out who's writing these. They're absolutely brilliant. It's of course Dennon himself. I mean, why should I question that? Right, okay then. Let's get into the match. Lot to discuss. Falkirk 1, Annan 1, and we will do that in the company of our guest pundit this week is Scott Watson.
Good evening, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure.
You all right?
Thanks for joining us, Scott. Scott has got a great beard, if you're not watching the YouTube version.
I do try.
And he's wearing a Falkirk scarf there, Scott, round it.
Yeah, my Falkirk top's in the wash, so I panicked and got a scarf, and it's far too warm, and I've made a terrible decision.
Yeah. Let's see if you can get it through the podcast with keeping the scarf on. I think it's going to come off at some point.
Sweating.
Scott, let's kick things off with just you doing the usual. What was your first experience of Falkirk?
My first experience, my first match I went to was the 1-0. We beat Motherwell 1-0 at Brockville. It was Scott Sloan, I believe, scored 92-93 season.
Wow.
Right,
yeah.
Okay. Good choice, yeah.
My first proper memory was also against Motherwell when the floodlights went out.
Yes.
95-96 season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I first got a proper memory, not really knowing what was going on, but yeah, it was great.
I seem to remember, like, the one abiding memory I've got of that game is, like, there was somewhat, like, someone, Sparky or someone was running across the ground and everyone started doing the Chariots of Fire theme tune. I seem to remember in the choir people going, do, 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 as this guy sprinted across trying to fix
I remember
the floodlights.
trying to get it fixed.
Do you remember though that because obviously and George Fulston was walking across the pitch constantly as well because was he not from like an electrical background or something as well?
Yeah.
Well, he was, but I think his trade as a youngster was I think he might have been.
Imagine George Fulston getting the kit out.
But do you remember? And I don't know like what age you were, Scott. So I don't know if you remember this part, but like I remember we were all leaving the ground, right, and there was loads of club staff giving out like these free vouchers so that you got in for nothing to the next game. And so at this first game, the floodlights were out. There was like 4,500 there. The rearranged game, there was like 11,000 people there because people were just going round and round for the staff members getting free tickets. I remember going into high school going, listen, I've got like 30 here. Who's got this?
I remember getting given the free tickets because I'd have been, 11 in 95, 96 season. I'd been 10 or 11.
Yeah.
So I remember getting given the voucher for it because it wasn't that long after, was it? Was it only like
No.
a week after? It was pretty much played straight away, wasn't it?
Pretty
a
much.
week or 10 days, I would assume, yeah. So
Yeah.
Good times, good times. Scott, who's your favourite Falkirk player?
Tony Parks.
Oh, straight off the
Tony
bat.
Parks.
Do you know what's the first time someone's mentioned Tony Parks on this podcast?
Wow, what a hero.
What
So
a
as a
guy.
kid, I used to play in the garden with my dad and my granddad, like from being really little, and I always ended up in goals. Probably because I was about 4, and they're like, I'll fire shots into him. Do you know what I mean? I always loved it.
Brilliant. What was it about Tony that just you went, he's the man?
Just being a goalkeeper, I think. See, when I started going to games when I was about 5, 6, I always just used to play in goals as a tiny kid. So I just obviously went straight for him and just followed what he did. But I always used to love that his goal kicks were terrible, and they always ended up the gardens of the houses in Watson Street.
Yeah. Named
Always
after
just
you.
went straight off to the right.
Fantastic.
Scott, do you remember the chant for a bonus point? Do you remember the Tony Parks chant?
I do not.
John, do you know it?
It's just basically who Tony, is it not?
Tony,
yeah.
Tony, yeah, Tony.
Oh, was it? I thought it was going to be something else there.
He would go like that on the way. That would be his reply. He would do the wee. That
Don-
was his wee.
You'll be donkey years a dad. Yeah, some boy, absolutely amazing player. Tony Parks, loved one of the best. I mean, I think when you go to goalkeepers, I mean, obviously we've had Casper Schmeichel and Tim Krul, these absolute legends of the world class keeper. But Tony Parks, in terms of like our goalkeeper, it's everyone's kind of go-to favourite goalkeeper because just some of the saves he made and what have you. You know, Mick Gloves as well, Michael McGovern as well.
I always liked Craig Nelson.
Yeah.
I was always a big fan of Craig Nelson.
Yeah. I think at first he took a while to he settled down at the club, did Craig, but once he kind of got into that, obviously you remember him from the 97 run. Kind of him and Mathers were fighting out for the gloves. And it was Nelson that kind of got them in the end. But I know it was good goalkeepers. We've had some very good goalkeepers. We should talk about that.
Ferguson as well. He was class.
Yeah, Fergie as well. Absolutely. Brilliant. All right, listen, let's get into the match then, boys. It was Falkirk 1, Annan 1, as I said. Callum Morrison getting the goal for us. And obviously the last kick of the ball just about was Tam Muir getting the equaliser for Annan. 5 changes from the win over Kelty. Kind of John McGlynn alluded that will be changes over the next wee while as he kind of rotates the squad due to the fixture congestion. Sam Long came in. We'll get to him later. Finn Yates, Stephen McGinn started for the first time. It must be one of the first times this season. Certainly, Stephen McGinn's part. Is it? I think it might be the first time he started this season.
I think it's the first time he started.
Yeah, I think it is.
That's worth a Google. We'll need to check that at some point because I have vague memories of him starting a game, but it could have been a cup tie.
Yeah, I think definitely in the league that's the first time he started. Callum Morrison and Aidan Nesbitt were all in for Hogarth, Bisland, Tate, Agyeman and Oliver. Is that what you expected, Ross? Or I mean, Steve McGinn was certainly everyone was like, oh, Steve McGinn's playing.
Yeah, the obviously the rest of the starting 11 was as John McGlynn talked about post-match, it was very similar to the side that beat Hamilton. So the changing keeper didn't shock me because obviously he talked about this month on, month off thing. Personally, don't agree with it, but listen, he's the guy.
I was going to get into that later, but listen, you've addressed it now, so let's talk about that now. Whoever signed this deal with Lincoln, now John McGlynn addressed it in his post-match interview, if you haven't seen it, basically saying that we need to play Sam Long for the next month. In January, when there was the threat of Lincoln taking him back, we made an agreement with Lincoln that he would be month on, month off for him. That is mental.
Has that been confirmed? Because I didn't realise contractual. I thought he was just doing it to be fair to the two of them.
No, I think the way he spoke in his post-match interview, it very much sounded like that was the deal that had been made with Lincoln. If that is the case, that is mental. That is absolutely mental. You had the man of the match performance from Nicky the week before, then to put Sam in. I mean, Nicky's confidence is going to be shot as a result of that. I mean, but if that is the deal, I guess Nicky goes, well, there's nothing I can do about it. But whoever signed that deal that's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. I mean, what Lincoln got to do, right? Say, for example, we just go, well, after, we'll talk about the goal, but we just decide on Tuesday night, well, we're just going to play Nicky. What would Lincoln do? I mean, what legal standing or anything? I mean, it would sour relationships between the clubs. Yeah. Would they recall Sam Long? I don't think they would. I don't think they would go, all right, we'll just recall him. I don't think they would, because he's not going to get game time down there. I mean, it's a ridiculous situation to be in.
I just think, see the difference in the two keepers. I mean, I prefer Hogarth by a long, long way.
Yeah.
I just think I was talking to Ross earlier on, funnily enough, and I think pretty much every game that Sam Long's played, he's made a mistake.
Yeah.
That's cost a goal.
I mean, Sam, obviously, he's a young goalkeeper. We don't, you won't know a pile on him, but he has made a lot of big mistakes. You go back to even in the League Cup against Partick Thistle, at the Dundee United, mistakes. He's had a good few howlers, has Sam,
I think he's had a
Dundee
few
United was when he dropped it in the goal, wasn't
he? Yeah.
Right, Scotty did. He kind of almost palmed it in himself, didn't he? But I think Sam's probably had more high-profile errors than Hogarth. The only one that's jumping out in mind for Nicky was the Accies away game. But and I've said it before, I like Nicky, and it's not that I don't like Sam. I think they've both got very, very good qualities. I don't think punching is or coming for the ball is Sam Long's. However, in terms of you could argue it's a bit of a toss up between the two. So I kind of get why he's doing it, but he doesn't. But we don't do it for any other position. Like, we don't say to Mackie and McCann, all right, Leon, you're playing February, so it's now Sean's turn. I don't know if this is contractual or not. If it's not contractual and this is just how he's deciding to do it, I still don't understand why we're doing it, because I agree with you. Nicky's had a fantastic game last week, and now he's dropped. Potentially, if this goes the way it's going to go, Sam's now in for the next 5 games in March.
Yeah.
And I don't want to play devil's advocate, but say Sam was to have an absolute shocker Tuesday against Cove. Why is he then automatically playing on Saturday against Stirling? It just doesn't make any sense. I'm not convinced that's how it's going to pan out, but it is a bit of a weird one. It is a weird one.
I mean, the thing is, if you have that in any other position and they make a mistake, 99.9% of the time it makes no difference. Whereas your keeper, this happens. What happened yesterday?
That's it. I mean, you look at we're well ahead of ourselves in terms of looking at the game, but you look at the goal that was conceded in the last couple of minutes and you think, with Nicky's height, would he have got that ball? I think the answer probably would have been yes. I mean, you obviously can't tell, but I think Sam, as Ross said, he's not the strongest at coming and commanding his box. Nicky, in fairness, Nicky's not, he's better than Sam at that, but I just think with his height, he would have claimed that ball, and it was an absolute shocker. But
I was just going to say, see, to add a comment in though, like as you said, we don't want to create a pile on. Sam actually had a few good.
Yeah, good one. That 1-on-1 he had, save he had.
And I personally don't think he should have been even in that position anyway. We had the ball in their corner, and I know we're like way ahead of talking about the game, but we lost that ball in a really safe space, and the people in front of Sam didn't help him in the last few seconds of the game yesterday.
No, if he's got, the thing is though, if he comes for that ball, he needs to claim it. He needs to be 100% confident that he's claiming that ball. Now, Annan, as we saw, was a massive side. God, Tommy Goss comes from the land of the Giants, man. Jesus, what a big unit he is. But they were a big team. And, like we said, Sam's not the greatest at commanding his box and winning things in there. So if he comes to that, just let Colin Tom deal with it. If the ball's coming, I mean, at the height, it was just a big launch into the box, right? And it was the perfect height. You think goalkeeper comes and claim it. If he's not 100% confident, he stays on his line. Tom and Cole, they've done really well all match. They kind of deal with it. Do you know what I mean? But they've obviously had the shout from Sam to come, and he's missed it. But yeah, I mean, but before we even get to that goal that they scored, the amount of chances we created, we should have been out of sight, and I think John McGuinn alluded to it in his interview. We should have been out of sight in that first half. It was just chance after chance after chance. 19 shots to 5, 13 corners to 1. We didn't test the keeper brilliantly. I don't think we, and it was just constant balls into the box. Leon McCann had so much space yesterday. Unbelievable amount of space down that left-hand side. And like the amount of balls that went into the box from him, Morrison and Miller, like we should have been miles ahead. But whether it was just, the Annan defence dealing with it, we just weren't getting the breaks. Ross McKeever had a couple of headers which he would look back at and think, I should have done better with that. It was just constant balls into the box. It was quite frustrating to a point, though. You were sitting watching the game and going, why don't they go inside? Like, they kept trying it, like, throughout. And I know that's John McGuinn's style, and I know that's how we played all season, but it was like, just have a go. Go inside the man. Look for a ball in the inside. Because it was getting to the point, it was really, really frustrating, Ross.
It was a very, very tough afternoon, not a classic by any stretch of the imagination. As you said, we had some amount of chances. Shout out to their keeper. I thought he commanded his box really, really well. As you said, he had the odd save to make, but in terms of all these crosses that were getting thrown in by McCann, by Miller, by Morrison, he cleared up almost everything all day. And but you're right, had we put some of these early chances away, the one after 15, 20 seconds, as a for instance.
Yeah, the Morrison chance, right? But yeah, absolutely. And then McKeever's headers as well. I thought, Scott, I didn't think Ross had his best game yesterday. I think he looked and I think he knew that as well when he saw him come off the pitch.
Oh, totally. I mean, there's a couple of those headers. He would have scored them pretty much every other week. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of those games. I said we could have been 4-0 up after 8 minutes, easy.
Yeah, I know. It was absolute pressure after pressure after pressure. Bit mental. I thought that you talked about the Annan goalkeeper. That then they had a player doing the goal kicks. It was a bit mental.
They were wasting time quite a bit as well in that first half, weren't they? And you could tell it was getting on everybody's nerves.
Yeah, it was just a bit mental that they kept doing that and they kept messing it up. But yeah, it was Willie Gibson that we kept going back and taking them. It was just a bit bizarre. What do we think about the short corner routines that we kept trying? We kept getting caught out, I think, with it, and there was a couple of occasions it was just like. I remember that was Martin O'Neill's Celtic team used to do that all the time. The kind of touch in the corner. I don't. Again, I've talked about zonal marking the other week. I don't quite get what that brings having two players out there. It gives the opportunity for the defender, and we got caught out a couple of times. The defender just coming as soon as the ball's touched, the defender comes across and tries to block the shot, and that happened a couple of times. But we tried it umpteen times. Like you say, the corner count in the match was ridiculous in that first half, especially.
It was so frustrating, those short corners. See, there was one in the second half, especially, and he took it short to Miller, didn't he? And then it ended up going out for a throw in immediately because he just hit it off the defender. Just get it in the box. It was really frustrating to watch.
We did score from one against Kelly, though. So,
is that the only one this season, though?
It might be, but we still scored.
well documented, Ross. But I thought our corner taking. You could see that. I think at one point Brad Spencer's taken over the duties from Calvin as well. I think Brad just kind of stepped because Calvin's were just going. It seemed like he got it right into 6 yards, and the keeper was just claiming them all day long. But yeah, it was. On Brad Spencer, I thought he had a very good game yesterday. I was surprised he got taken off, actually, because he was real quarterback in it. Some better. And Stephen McGinn as well, I've seen a bit of criticism on social media. Not convinced.
No, I thought he was well off the pace yesterday.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was at, I agree with Scott. I don't think he was at match fitness. Peak,
a lot of his passes went astray as well. There was loads of passes he just passed straight to the Annan players, I noticed as well.
I think even obviously we didn't hear from him after the game or anything. Oh no, well I know he was.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
I've not listened to that personally yet, but he I actually thought he had some really good passing as well. Obviously, one that and a brilliant one that's led to the goal, which we'll talk about shortly. But For me, it was more of a fitness thing. Listen, and you get it, don't you? Because he very rarely plays. He comes on and does 10, 15 minutes at most weeks. I think some of the criticism put towards him since yesterday's been quite harsh.
I was surprised, however, that Henderson hasn't started that game, because Henderson's a big physical presence. Annan are a big physical team, and I was very surprised that we didn't have Hendo in that midfield area to do what Hendo does. You saw, I think there was, when he came off the bench, you could see there was him, and I thought Dylan Tate as well was excellent when he came on as well. And I just thought it was added impetus to the game when those two came on. I actually half expected one of them to end up scoring because they came on and just lifted the team. But yeah, I think Stephen McGinn, I tend to agree that, it's just, unfortunately, his legs just aren't there, and the pace that we play and the kind of style that we play, it seemed, I'd certainly, bring him on, absolutely bring him on, but starting a game, I think he needs, I think if we had started with Hendo in there, maybe things that would have been a bit different. It's hard to tell.
I think it would have made a massive difference from the crosses, though. See, as you said, the amount of crosses we put in the box, and the defenders cleared it every single time. I thought the two Annan centre-backs were brilliant yesterday, to be fair.
Yeah,
they cleared everything. We had no height in the box, really.
Yeah. Hendo's height at set pieces, 100%. Listen, Tate came on, did really well in the second half as well. He brings an awful lot to that.
Yeah, I like him.
I think we need to bear in mind, and I feel as if I'm maybe just kind of being a bit of a devil's advocate tonight, but obviously this game against Cove on Tuesday, I think John McGlynn's looked at the 2 games, or the 3 games actually, sorry. I think he's looked at, right, what am I going to do here? Who do we need to face today? Who are we facing Tuesday? Who are we facing next Saturday? And he's probably got 3 teams already lined up for that matter. I think he's thought that far ahead. I don't think it necessarily worked yesterday. As you said, we missed Henderson. I think we missed the energy Tate potentially being in there as well. I thought he did great against Kilty for the time that he was on. And yeah, it was just, we missed so many chances, John, so many chances. And as Scott said, we could have been 4 up after 8 minutes. Had even one of those went in, listen, we'd be sitting here talking about a 5 or a 6-0 win.
Yeah, I always felt it was the goal was coming, and it did eventually come in the second half. Long played the nice sort of short pass to McGinn. Brilliant ball from Stephen McGinn. That's what he brings to the side. See if you just sit him in that. Like, the problem is with Stephen McGinn is that Brad Spencer does that job of kind of quarterbacking, in midfield. So more often than not, it was going through Brad rather than Stephen. But you can just see the quality that ball he sent to Morrison. And I don't know what the goalkeeper was rushing out for. He didn't have to not rush out, but more fool him, because it was a great lob from Cal Morrison, and that's his 14th league goal of the season now.
Yeah. No, brilliant finish from Cal. Probably the only error the keeper made all day in his defence. But yeah, brilliant ball over. He's not a left pegger either, and it was a fantastic. I
thought it was going wide. From where I was sitting, I thought that's gone wide, and then just saw it hitting the side net. I was like, oh, brilliant, it's in.
Do you know how good it was as well? He's obviously put a bit of backspin on it, and I'll tell you. So see the line where we were sitting, up above towards the left hand side, John. You actually saw the ball just like it died as soon as it hit the turf. So he's not only put a beautiful pass, but he's put an awful lot of sort of like almost backspin on it, and it just sat perfectly for Cal to lob the keeper.
Yeah, brilliant. A good goal, and another one for the Cal Morrison collection. And then from that point you think, right, we're going to push on. But there was always that feeling in the back of your head, because Annan, in credit to them, were, like Ross said, defensively, they gave us a game. I mean, you look at the possession statistics, actually, they've had 51% compared to our 49. They did well, Anna, and they came with a game plan, and they got the rewards in that last minute. Like you say, it was, and Ross has said it so many times, we're makers of our own downfall sometimes. And yeah, it was just a big hopeful ball into the box. Sam missed it. You thought, oh, it's off the line. But then it just falls to the Annan player in the box, and it's a goal, Do you know what I was surprised about yesterday? And I was speaking to the guys that sit around. Where was Captain Chaos, Alfie Argument? That was a game. I was amazed that he wasn't brought in yesterday. on as a sub. I thought that Alfie's the kind of player. If it's 1-0, just get it to Alfie. Do you know what I mean? If you're 1-0 up and you think we'll just see this game out, get Alfie on, because he's going to drive into corners. He's going to cause chaos. He's going to keep it in the corners if you want to. He's going to take on players, win fouls, because that's what Alfie Yagiman does. And I just thought we missed him, Captain Chaos, coming on.
I think, say had he been on, he probably would have been actually perfect. Because if you think back to the 92nd minute, so just a minute or two before they scored, we had the ball at the main stand corner at the Annan goal, right?
Yeah.
What we had to do was keep a hold of this fucker. And did we? No, we didn't. We fannied about with it. We tried to, I'm not even sure what we tried to do. And then it goes out for a throw. The big lad's then thrown a huge throw in. It's then got them about 50 yards up the park. All he's then done is repeat the same throw towards our box. And as you've just said, the guy's like hit it 3 times the height of the north stand and like come down with snow on it. Do you know what I mean? And Sam, like I agree. I don't know who I was speaking to either last night or today about this. See if he'd tried to catch it. I actually think the ref would have blown for a foul. Because the guy absolutely, and I'm not saying it's a foul, but the guy was enough into him that had he actually tried to catch it, I reckon the ref would have gave a foul, but he didn't. He tried to get a punch on it. It was a weak as hell punch. And obviously, as we saw, like brilliant from Cole on the line to keep it out. That was the first thing. Brilliant on the line save. Just really unfortunate that it's went straight onto the napper of that. Yeah, I think scored.
I just think he had too long to think about it. It took about 20 seconds to come down.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's
it's outrageous.
Actually, on Cole and Tom yesterday, I thought Tom Laing especially. And it's not just because I think I love him, but I thought, I thought Tom was exceptional yesterday. Absolutely unbelievable. Just I thought he dealt with absolutely everything. I mean, as I said, Tommy Goss, what a unit he is to deal with. I wouldn't fancy coming up him as a centre half, but I thought both Tom and Cole handled him really, really well yesterday. And they defended really, really well, and you can't blame them for the goal. Like I said earlier, if Sam had just left that to come into the box, and obviously he was shouting manager, you need to command that. But if Sam had just left that to Tom and Cole, I don't think we'd be sitting here talking about a 1-1.
The thing is, even if you just left it entirely, even if they didn't go for it, the guy's not scoring for there.
No.
Because of the height of the ball. He's not getting enough power to get that near the goal.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So it was frustrating. I think it was very... I walked out feeling pretty dejected. But then you sit back and go, well, we're 14 points clear still. We've not lost this season still. And that's another game down. You know, we've got
hands as well.
We've got to get that. Yeah, exactly. We've got 10 games. We've got 30 points potentially on the table. Hamilton have got 27 potential points on the table. They're not going to win every game. You know, that was the first one in 5 yesterday. Hamilton are not going to win every game. If they do, fair play to them. Right, but I cannot see Hamilton win every game. I don't think their supporters can see them winning every game. You know, it was a good result for them yesterday. Obviously, bounced back after the draw with Stirling Albion. But, you know, it's still, you know, I have to say, people booing at the end, get a grip, man.
I didn't get that at all.
It's like, come on now. I get the frustration because the frustration was there. If it happened at any point in the game, I think it was just because the final whistle came immediately after. We just a very poor goal, and I think that's reaction. But come on, guys, come on. As I say, 14 points clear, 9 games left. You do the maths. You look at the stats. I mean, you look at the bookies. We're all right. We're okay. We're okay. I'm not going to make any declarations like Ross does, but we're all right. Just bear with it. I'll be fine. It'll be fine.
What size do you want in your Champions t-shirt?
Shut up. None of that. I've told you this talk is banned. That sort of talk in here is banned. Anyway, I think it was a little while until John McGuinn came out of the dressing room. So, read into that what you will.
That's a good shout, actually. You've just reminded me of something yesterday. So, you know how the players come back into the lounges after the game?
Yeah.
It was 10-6.
Right. Yes.
Said was John kept us in. He's raging. That was the
Yeah,
first thing.
he didn't look a very happy man when he went off the park. But let's just see if he'd calmed down to any when he spoke to Falkirk TV.
John, a really frustrating one today. I think it looked like we were going to take all 3 points as well, and just a sucker punch at the end. Almost feel like a defeat in that sense.
Created plenty of chances, loads of chances for 20 seconds into the game where we should score, and we've got to take these chances. These are big moments in the game that we should be taking and getting ourselves into a really good position in the game. So Ross has had a good chance to put us in front as well, both within the first 3 minutes in the game. I think if that happens, I think we win the game very, very comfortably. But we didn't. We continued to make chances through both halves. Both halves we should have been killing Annan off for the vast majority of the game. Sam could have been in the house, very little to do. I think he had one save in the second half prior to the one in the last header of the ball, last phase of play in the game. Other than that, he had very, very little, next to nothing to do in the whole game. So didn't kill them off, gave them a lifeline, an opportunity to get a lifeline, and they took it. And it's frustrating that we didn't get all 3 points. Our play deserved it, but if you don't put the ball in the back of the net, then been in the game long enough, seen it happen often enough, you end up paying for it, and that's what's happened today. We can only blame ourselves. We didn't take our opportunities. We had plenty of them. The amount of crosses that Calvin Miller's put into the box today, and for us not to get any joy from any one of them is criminal, absolutely criminal. Good goal we scored, a great ball by Stephen McGinn over the top, and Callum's got onto it, chipped over the goalkeeper, and finished it off very well. And we should kick on from there. We should really kick on from there. But it was a little bit huffing and puffing in front of goal, no clinical enough, no quite sharp enough, no quite ruthless enough in front of goal, and we've been made to pay for it. So not happy, not the happiest dressing room there, because we've kind of chucked away 2 points there at the end. So dust ourselves down, get ready for Tuesday night.
Now I'm going to play it. We usually just take the first part of the question, but I'm going to play it so you can hear what he had to say about the goalkeeping situation.
Speaking of the goal, Callum Morrison looked like he took a really sore one. Do you have any update on his situation?
He turned his ankle. Yeah, he turned his ankle. It's not too bad, I don't think, but he did turn his ankle, and obviously, he couldn't play on at that particular time. So I don't think it's anything that's going to keep him out too long. But it's very early to say, But whether he'll be fit for Tuesday or not, I couldn't tell you. It's too early.
There's a few changes as well today. I know you were speaking about rotating the squad with quite a few games coming up. One of them as well as Sam Long in the goals. What was the reason behind that change?
There was only 2 changes for the team that beat Hamilton. Yeah, Sam was in goals and Steve McGinn came in. And that was only 2 changes from the team that beat Hamilton. Yeah. We've got a situation with the goalkeepers where we've been given January a month each. So Nicky played, Sam played the month of January, Nicky played February, and given Sam March to play in. So very difficult with goalkeepers to keep everyone happy in their kind of situations. Obviously Sam's up here for Lincoln. He was in control of the jerseys, got a bit of an injury. Nicky went in, and then all of a sudden in January we could lose Nicky, so lose Sam. So we had to try and do something to make sure that both players were getting enough game time, and so that's where we're at. Yeah.
Now, that's interesting, isn't it? That's why I think there's a contractual thing going on with it.
I don't know if it's contractual, but it certainly sounds like Lincoln said, "Listen, play him."
We're taking him back unless
we're taking him back. It certainly sounds like that. And I don't know if it can be contractual, John. It can be, but it certainly sounds like they've said, "Listen, we're taking him back if you're not going to give him enough game time," and that seems to be not the deal, but the compromise that they've got in. I don't like it.
No, absolutely. Lincoln can go fuck themselves, in my opinion.
What's your title for this week?
Yeah. But if they're saying that, go and listen. We're giving you. He's not going to get game time down at your place, clearly. So why we kowtowing to Lincoln if that is the case. If that is the case, I don't get it. I don't get it.
John obviously likes Sam, right? So I think we're all, because John McGlynn's no daft, right? He's not going
Yeah,
to.
we all like Sam. It's just that he's made too. You would rather see Nicky, especially after his man of the match performance last week. Confidence is high with him. Why change a confident goalkeeper?
Agreed. That's my thought process with it as well.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
What are you thinking, Scott? You have a similar mind?
Exactly the same. As I said, I do prefer Nicky to Sam, but Sam's a good shot stopper, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But as you said, see the amount of mistakes he's made this season. See in other seasons that would have cost us games.
Yeah,
absolutely, or more games. You know what
I mean? I think the good thing from our perspective is the two centre halves have been outstanding this season, and they've not had the goalkeeper as a result of that. They've not had a huge amount to deal with, and I think that's been a key to getting to where we are this season. Is Tom and Cole in front of the goalkeeper, because they, like you say, they've not had much to deal with just because they've been magnificent this season. Right, let's see what you guys said going back to the game. Danny says players and managers thought the game was won, didn't they? But it wasn't, was it? Hopefully sharpens the mind for a tough 3 away games ahead. Big few weeks ahead now. Let's get over the line and stop all about the chat. When it will happen, just win games of football. I mean, it's a tough run. The 3 away games and on the spin now, starting with Cove on Tuesday. It's a tough old run, but I think once we get these 3 games out of the way, it starts looking a wee bit easier going down. I think looking at Hamilton's games, we talked about this before, Ross. I think they look like they've got the harder kind of running than us. So, but again, we're still 14 points clear. Remember that.
We do need to remember that. William says, I thought some of our passing was sloppy, especially in the second half. We lacked a bit of composure at times, and Annan defenders certainly put their bodies on the line blocking shots. Hopefully, we'll have our shooting boots on at Stirling next week. He's obviously forgot about Cove, so we want Tuesday and Saturday, please, Bairns.
Clarkey says it wasn't McGinn's fault. Guy was not match sharp, but poor finishing cost us again. We still need a finisher. 12 corners in the first half, countless crosses by Callum, but no finish. All dropped at Annan's feet or too close to the keeper. I hope Callum is okay. It looked a sore one. We heard from John McGuinn there saying it was just he twisted his ankle. So hopefully, I would seriously doubt that he'll play against Cove, but hopefully he makes it back for Stirling next week.
Alan Dick in the Brockville Lounge asked Tam and Brad how he was, and they basically said almost the same as John, that the fact that he'd rolled his ankle, so it looked worse at the time. But they've said they reckon he'll be training as in today, because I think they come in on a Sunday when they're playing. They expected him to train today, so fingers crossed. And I agree every word that Clarkey just said there, by the way. I think yesterday wasn't because Stephen McGinn was in the midfield.
No, absolutely no.
And he wasn't match sharp. Why would he be match sharp? He's barely played, right? But the next sentence around poor finishing, it was poor finishing. We were shocking in front of goal most of the day. So that's why we lost yesterday for me.
Yeah.
Martin says, enough chances in the first 20 minutes to win umpteen games and eventually paid for missing them. For me, Hogarth catches that, but shouldn't have been in a position to lament dropping points. Annan got what they came for.
Yeah, I mean, the way they celebrated the games, and you would say, if you went to the league leaders in your second bottom and you went and scored the last minute goal, the way they celebrated,
of course,
you would celebrate it like that. Stuart says, if we go up, league's not won yet, remember, we definitely need a keeper and a target man for sure. I would agree that's the two, if we go up to the championship, that is the 2 positions that we need to improve on. As much as I love Ross, and obviously he was going to get 30 goals for Mr. Wayne this season, I think good squad play in the championship. I think we need to improve on. See if you could get Zach Rudden, for example, into that. Like, it would, that, imagine Zach, that front three of Miller, Morrison and Rudden. I don't know if that's possible or a possibility, but you would think he's the kind of player that would thrive off what comes into the boxes. I mean, look at the amount of goals he scored in that season we got relegated. And I would someone like that. And I think, as we've all said, an experienced goalkeeper is just that little piece of the jigsaw that's missing this season. I know we tried to get Jamie McDonald. I think that would have been outstanding if we had managed to get that over the line. But yeah, and definitely for next season, I fully agree with Stuart on that.
Goalkeeping wise, for me, I agree, John. I think we need another permanent goalkeeper in, and I might be in a minority here, but I would be offering Nicky another deal, and I would have hit Nicky and another goal.
I agree. I absolutely agree with that. Yep. If Mickey came in and worked alongside an experienced goalkeeper, I think you'd see the difference in him as well.
Yeah. Grant says a goalkeeper who has struggled to find his confidence this season finally found it last weekend against Kelty, and he's on the bench this weekend.
Yeah, Bob says disappointing end, but can we just talk about McGinn's pass for the goal? What an incredible ball from Morrison. It certainly was. And can we just talk about Shagger and McGinn? Was that all his kids that were on the park at the start? There's about 6 of them. I was like, whoa, big man.
No, I don't think they were all his. I noticed a couple of dad on their shirts, I think, but no, looking at the programme yesterday, there was a few mascots, and I don't think they were all.
Right, they weren't all John McGinn's children.
You'll be having a Calvin Miller rumour starting here again.
I know I started that weekend. Maybe it was McGinn that they were talking about. I'll tell you what, John McGinn, Uncle John and Uncle Paul, God, at Christmas time, they're like, oh, Jesus Christ, I've got loads of wains to buy for. Right, so just to confirm, John McGinn doesn't have 6 kids. Ross, you're saying that,
At least
I
saw one with dad on the shirt. There might have been 2, but I don't think.
Okay. Right.
Craig says, please play our strongest 11 until it's actually won. We played like we had already won something today. Our passing was sloppy at times, but we had more than enough chances to win the game. The goal was conceded, was an absolute calamity. Hogarth back in until the end, please.
Be interesting to see what happens Tuesday, actually. If he reneges on his deal to Link, if there is a deal with Lincoln, who knows? But yeah, Henderson's not ideal, but winning Tuesday and 9 more draws and we're champions. That's not technically true. I did the maths on that, Hendo. That doesn't work out. We've put ourselves in such a comfortable position that we can afford the odd bad result. It's not a loss. It's another point in the board. I love that positivity, though.
What is the maths, though? Because we're 14 in front. So if we had 9 more draws...
Right, there's 20. It's Hamilton. Right, oh God, it's like Carol Vorderman in here. We're going to have to get Rachel Riley or someone. Right, so 27. Hamilton have 27 points to play for. So if they drew against us, they would have 25 points. So we would have 9 points. So the math doesn't add up.
Not yet. That's right.
Not yet.
2 wins and 8 draws. Then that'll do.
Right, there you go. Right,
we'll do it. Mark says, thought they defended well. One of those days where nearly everyone seemed to be having a bit of an off day. Nothing to worry about, though. We'd quite happily draw every game till the end.
No, because the math doesn't work out, Mark.
As McGinn's biggest critic, I have to say, I thought he played excellent today.
There you see, I don't know why there's been this kind of pushback on McGinn. I think a lot of people, I thought he played all right. Campbell says, frustrating game, should have been safe by half time. Will Kate Middleton be seen again in public before Falkirk steal the title? That's a good question.
You need to get a poll out for that one. Like, you need to get a poll out.
Fantastic.
I'm saying no.
And finally, Ultras 1876. I don't know if there's a spokesman for the Ultras, but they said they came to frustrate us. They did. We move on. 17 points clear again after we pump the Rats on Tuesday.
Yes, right. Okay, then. Let's move on to our Falkirk Daft rated player of the week. Who was it for you, Ross Wayne?
I'm going to go with the sponsors man of the match yesterday. I thought Leon was absolutely fantastic, but special shout outs to the 2 boys that are standing behind me in the picture. I thought Tam and Brad were brilliant yesterday as well.
Scott?
Yep, I had Tam written down, but McCann, absolutely go with that.
Oh, no, don't, hold on, don't go with what he says.
No, I had Tam Laing written down.
I'm going with Scott, my boy. Big Tom, I thought he was unbelievable. He was like, I thought him and Cole again were excellent yesterday, but Tom came forward with the ball. Distribution was really, really good, and he won, against a really tough opponent in Tommy Goss. I thought he did really, really well. So Tom Laing for me, obviously. Right, Ross, Falkirk Dafty.
I'm one of his biggest fans, but I think he missed too many golden opportunities yesterday. So for me, it's Ross McKeever.
McKeever.
Yeah, sadly.
Scott.
I had McKeever written down as well. For exactly the same reason. He had 2 golden chances from about a yard out and he headed them both over the bar.
Yeah, he had a poor game and you could tell he was so frustrated when he came off the bench.
I love McKeever, but
yeah.
Work's like an absolute bear. Like, you don't want him not
God, his work rate. I thought, do you know what I did? We haven't mentioned him actually, or Aidan Nesbitt I thought had a poor game yesterday as well, actually.
Interesting, he got subbed as well, didn't he? He's not like him.
I know. The teacher's pet is being subbed, but I thought Aidan wasn't 100% at it yesterday as well. But I'm going to get, you guys are giving it to Ross. I'm going to give it to Sammy, just for that mistake at the end. Cost us effectively 2 points. So sorry, Sam Long. It is Falkirk Dafty for me, but Ross has got it overall. Well, listen, 1-1. We'll go back again. 14 points clear. 10 games to go. 30 points to play for. It's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good.
Exactly. It's Cats, chill.
Oh, man. Just chill, Cats. Chill.
John, see, before we let Mr. Watson go, though, I believe he may have a story about a pie from yesterday before we let him go. So we'll hand over to Mr. Watson.
So I thought it'd be a wonderful idea yesterday when I was at the ground to buy one of the kebab pies.
Oh, they're good, man.
Well, sounded amazing on paper. Ate said pie. 20 minutes later, was sick all over the toilet cubicle and had to sit and clean it for about 15 minutes.
Oh, no!
So I don't know what was in the pie. Didn't agree with me, whatever it was. So note to self, never have a pie again with kebab in it.
Oh, no, I've had them
I know.
before and they were really, really good, Scott. Oh, man.
Tasted nice. Tasted nice.
But obviously something in there did not agree with it. Oh,
something didn't agree.
What?
I actually love that phrase. Something did not agree with me. I just wanted to evacuate my body.
I think the Falkirk Daft Award needs to go to the pies.
There you go. And Scott, now before you go, we get another story from you, because I believe you, in the days of when we had the hot tub and the crane, I believe you were one of the winners of, and I think it was the Saturday night at the movies team that we did with the old-fashioned car at the side of the park. Is that right?
Oh, it was wonderful.
You sat. Explain this experience of sitting watching a game from a car.
Well, the funny thing was, so when I'd won it, because you obviously you had to write a pun or something. So when we won it, obviously we're sitting in the car, so it was me and my brother. And we thought, because it was live on TV, so it was Morton. It was live on BBC Alba. And we thought, we've got to do something to try and get on TV, not only because we're sitting in a car. So we brought a massive bag of wigs and hats and everything. And we'd been speaking to the bloke from BBC before it. And he said, look, there's a cue light on the camera, a little red cue light. So when we're pointing that at you, if the red light's on, you're live. So every time the camera pointed down, we were changing our wigs and our hats and everything and kept popping out the car. So there's about 5 videos on Twitter and BBC and everything. Pie and Bovril, there were all these things. It was just videos of us with different hats, different wigs, different masks. It's absolutely great. To be honest, I don't remember much of the game. I know we lost.
Did you get? Were you steaming in the car?
Oh yeah, that was great. It was
brilliant. Brilliant. Did the car have a horn? Because I thought at the time, like you could honk the horn and all that.
It did, but it was rubbish. It just sort of went. It was really pathetic.
Superb, brilliant. Bring that stuff back. I know it's like it was a recent BBC thing and it said Falkirk were tin pot as a result of this sort of stuff, but it was good banter, wasn't it?
Oh, it was great because there was not a lorry as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a lorry there at one point.
Because we're sponsored. Remember, the back of the shirt sponsor was Man, so you had right. So there was the trucks in the corner. There was the car that you were on. There was the game from a crane. There was the hot tub. I've got a funny feeling there was something else. Did they not do like you know how like Ant and Dec do on a Saturday night takeaway? Like they had a red sofa and it was like they put a red sofa where where Falkirk TV, just below where Falkirk TV are. They put like a red sofa there, so people were like sitting watching the game there on a comfy sofa, which was just So as you said,
the game as well, where people had to launch a ball into the boot of a car. Remember that?
Messi couldn't have done that shot, Scott.
Was it not like a Ford car or something like that? It was tiny.
it was insane. Like Messi would have struggled to have got a ball from the centre circle to the car was at the corner flag. Do you remember?
Yeah, it was right on the corner flag. Yeah.
Not only had to hit the car, had to stay in the boot as well. Like that is just.
The boot was tiny. It was like a Ford car, or like it was something really small.
Amazing. Good time. Bring back the banter. Years, come on. Scott, thanks for being our guest pundit. I really appreciated your stories and your time this evening. Remember, if you want to be like Scott, come on the pod. It's not long to go. Like I say, 9 games to go, which means 9 podcasts left. If you want to be on before the end of the season, drop us a DM on Twitter, Facebook, or you can email us pundit@falkirkdaft.co.uk.
This is Falkirk Daft.
Right, it's that time of the show we like to look ahead to our next opponents. It's been a bit, a lot of people actually like when we get fans of other teams on, because it's really good to get an insight into the supporters and stuff. But it's been a real struggle this season, because there's not a lot of other podcasts for the teams that are in the league this season, and B, when I've ever put on, like, say for Stirling Albion or the Cove message board, all I've got is abuse back. So it's like, it's been tough getting away supporters on this season, but hopefully if we're in our league next season, it'll be a bit easier, because we know you guys love to hear the thoughts of the supporters of the other teams. But anyway, we've got 2 games to deal with right here, right now. We've got Cove Rangers on Tuesday. Mr. Hartley has not really done it against us this season. He took a point at the start, but aside from that, Ross, it's been 2 wins for the Bairns.
Yes, very comfortable wins as well, and I'd love another one. Yeah, January, a repeat of January would be outstanding, wouldn't it? It would be absolutely beautiful if we could get that again.
We've got to play. I'm saying we've got to play them twice. We've got
yes,
away, this is the game in hand, so this is the away game, and then we've got to play them again at the stadium.
Oh, that's right. Yes, sorry. I think the draw we should have won back in August. We played fantastically well that day. Silly goals that we lost. As we'll not go through it again, but obviously the culprit's now on loan at Kelty. So we lost a couple of silly goals that day. And then, as you say, a repeat of the game in January would be lovely. It will be a different proposition, though. They seem to play a bit better when Fraser 5 is fit.
Yeah,
he is fit unless something happens to him between now and kick-off.
I think there's a stat that every game Fraser 5 he's played in, they've basically taken points or won. It's something ridiculous like that. So Fraser 5 is, I believe, fit for Tuesday night. They've obviously got a lot of kind of older players, so it'll be interesting to see if they rotate their squad around. We'll certainly, I think, maybe sans Callum Morrison, depending on his not, I would think, going stronger. We've talked about the goalkeeping situation. Yeah. It looks like Sam's going to be starting again on Tuesday.
If that's the chat from John, like I hadn't listened to the post-match interview from him last night, so I hadn't heard the words coming out of his own mouth, but it certainly sounds like that's the feel that he's advised Lincoln that this is what he's going to do. So if it's Sam in goals, listen, Sam didn't have a horrific game yesterday. He saved a couple of good saves. His kicking is actually quite good as well. His distribution, I mean. As we've said, though, he's not the strongest at commanding his area. Will Cove look to fire balls into the box, knowing that it potentially could be a bit of a weakness?
Yeah, and we know they've got Romain Burrell, who is, the top scorer. In fact, I think Shanklin might have just nipped in front of him now. But he is one of the top scorers in Scotland. He's done a really good job up there at Cove. We all saw what he could do here last season. A lot of Falkirk Sports, including myself, would like to have held on to him. I think he offers something different. Whether it's come down to attitude or what have you, we don't know the behind the scenes story, but certainly he's a player that I liked at Falkirk. I thought he offered something a bit different from what else we've got there, but he's certainly done the business for Cove. When I think it's 23 goals he's scored this season, so he's scored pretty much half the team's goals this season on his own. So yeah, it's he's,
and as we saw from January, nullify him and he won't score. So I think if we have a really, really strong defensive night, I think Henderson will come back in to partner Brad Spencer. I actually think that's maybe why Brad Spencer went off with Tuesday in mind. I
Yeah.
think they've thought we need them sort of perfect.
Yeah.
So I can Henderson starting over Stephen McGinn. On the basis that Morrison's fine, I think McGinn for Henderson will be the only change. I could be wrong.
And if Morrison's not fine, who is it? Alfie, or do you bring in Ethan Ross?
Certainly Ethan Ross came in for him.
And then Miller switched to the right, didn't he, when Ethan Ross came on?
I don't know. I think he maybe trusts Ethan Ross more. I think we need to see more from Ethan Ross, though.
I think I really like him. I
do. This is what I'm saying, though. I really like him, and I'd love him to stay potentially next season as well. But when you look at his assists, his goal return, he's not
getting the minutes though, is he? Really, he's. I mean, I know saying that he started against Kelty, didn't he? But I really like how he just seems to glide. I said it in the last podcast. He just kind of glides with the ball, and I really like the looks of him. But yeah,
he's more consistent just now than Aggie, man. Like, as in, you know what? As you said, Captain Chaos. You don't know what he's going to do. I think whereas Ethan Ross, he's going to get the ball down and he's going to have a run at players, and that's what we want as well, isn't it?
I think I tend to agree with you. I think if Morrison is injured, we start with Ethan and we bring on Captain Chaos, because I just think impact off the bench. Like I said, I was surprised. They should have brought him on yesterday. They really should have brought him on yesterday. But I bring on the captain in the last kind of 20 minutes to just cause chaos and mayhem. But yeah, so that's Cove. I mean, I've got a bad feeling about it. I've got a really bad feeling about Tuesday night.
Would you take a point?
I would absolutely bite your hand off for a point. For me, it's a bonus game. We get to 15 points, then we get to 17. I think even me would be if we won on Tuesday night. I think even me at 17 points with 9 games to go. Mm-hmm. I think even at that point, I'd have to go. Yeah, it's done.
I'd love a win just to banish Saturday. And if you think about when we have drawn previously, we have then won the next game. So hopefully that continues. But yeah, I agree with you to a big degree as well. It's a bonus game. And if it so happens that we come down the road by a point, it might not be the worst point.
I think, surely in the players' heads as well, it's about keeping the unbeaten run going. It really is, isn't it? It's keeping that unbeaten run going. Like you say, though, Cove are pushing for that playoffs. They're 1 point off Alloa at the moment, 2 wins. They're back on kind of back to winning ways, so they'll be looking to get, because I'm saying that Alloa are in 26 games as well. They'll be looking to push on into that kind of those playoff places. It's a real dogfight in between Montrose, Alloa, and Cove for those 2 places. So they'll be definitely looking to get a win. And I'm sure Mr. Hartley will certainly be looking for revenge after the last game at the stadium. So we shall wait and see what happens there. But yeah, Cove, tough game. Fingers crossed for Tuesday night. Hopefully some of you will be listening on the way up to the game as we speak. Right then, it is Stirling Albion. As we said, the County Cricket Club behind the ground will be open for Bairns. Last outing with them, for last outing for them, they drew 2-2 with Queen of the South. Poor Marvin. I'm surprised I've not seen any information from Queen of the South, because they are third bottom for a team that we thought were going to be title contenders this season. They are really struggling. So that was 2-2 they had with Stirling there at the weekend. And Stirling...
What happened off the pitch, though, during the week, John, at Queen of the South? Their full board intention to resign.
Mental.
Yeah, it's not a good place to be.
Doesn't seem to be. I mean, it's like they're... I think they'll be fine. Like, looking, there's 7 points between them. Maybe they're not. But they just seem to not be able to buy a win. Stirling Albion, on the other hand, unbeaten in the last 3, 2 draws in the last 2. What do you make of chances against Stirling? They've given us a hard time this season, in fairness to them.
No, they have. They have, especially the game at Fourth Bank in October. It's the easiest games. I think a bit of it will depend on how Tuesday goes. The reason I'm saying that is because I think if we were to draw Tuesday night, I think the club and the fans would be demanding a win. The players would be desperate for a win as well. I think if you win tomorrow night, Tuesday night, sorry, you're then 17 points clear again, right? And I don't want to say we're going to let up a bit, but you just see when you're that far in front. I do wonder if there's maybe a bit of it because the crowd are feeling it. If everybody keeps saying in those comments, we need to remember the league's not won. But a lot of people have already, and myself included, we've obviously made comments about, oh, well, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? But we've done nothing yet. We do need to get over here. So I think it'll depend on how Tuesday night goes. Will we beat Stirling? Who knows? Can we? Yes, we know we can. We can put a number of goals past Stirling Albion. They're not a great football team. They've won and drawn, as you've just said, the last 3 games. So their recent form's better. But I do think we've got more than enough for them on our day.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Well, again, with 3 away games, you've got it's just a bit of a nightmare having Cove still and then Queen of the South as well. It's tough being away from home and on the road that long.
If we could get through these next 2 games though, I think Dumfries will be the easiest of the 3. I think Dumfries.
Do you think so? Yeah,
100%. I think we'll scoosh Queen of the South away on Saturday.
They've always given us game this season. Though they've set up very they sat back and set up defensively against us. They've taken. Yeah. Obviously, we had the last-minute goal from Brad Spencer. They took us to a draw down there the last time. It was nip and tuck when they were up the stadium as well, wasn't it?
No, listen, it's not been the easiest, but they are down on their uppers now, and I just think by that point they could even be second bottom, or close to being second bottom. John, I think there's 7 points between them and Annan. But Annan's form is far better than Queen of the South. I fear for them. I genuinely think they could find themselves in a playoff battle. And they don't look like playing with any confidence. Just now, would you fancy them in a playoff against a team in League Two who are maybe kind of up for it and for it? I'm not convinced.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see. Right, okay, predictions then for, first of all, Cove.
2-1 Falkirk tomorrow, Tuesday night. I think it will be tight. I think it will.
I'm thinking 1-1 to get a point, get down the road. But then I think we're going to beat Stirling on Saturday. I think we had it tough there, fourth banter last time. Obviously, we've got Brad Spencer to thank for giving us 3 points, but I think it'll be a 2-0 to Falkirk against Stirling.
I was going to say the same. I think a couple of goals, Falkirk, on Saturday. Big crowd will be there. I think the away stand will be full.
How many did we have the last time? There was rumours that we were going to get behind the goal. We were going to get behind the goals as well this time.
Yeah, the other one. Yeah, that's right. So the chat is, the rumour I've heard from Stirling. We got a message actually from a Bairns fan that's hopefully going to come on as a pundit at some point. He's very well known with one of the Stirling contingent, and the home terrace that was a home terrace last time is closed for this game unless Falkirk need it. So we could end up having the 2 terracings behind each goal as well as the away stand as well. So it could potentially be nearly 3,000 Bairns fans if all the tickets were to be sold.
And there'll be a lot of hungover people after the speakers night as well, I suspect, as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So there you go. So that's it. Cove and Stirling this week. Potentially chance to go 17 points clear on Tuesday. Hamilton, I believe, I've got Edinburgh next weekend, so you think that's a shoe-in for Hamilton?
Should be.
It should be a shoe-in for Hamilton, you suspect, next weekend. But, we saw they managed to take a point off of us. But yeah, hopefully we speak to you this time next week. Another 2 games down, 8 games to go, and 17 points clear. That's the fingers are crossed for that.
This is Falkirk Daft.
And that is it for this week's Falkirk Daft. Thank you very much for listening. If you haven't listened to Sam McGivern episode, go and check your podcast feed now or check out on YouTube. Falkirk Daft meets Sam McGivern. And as we said at the start of the show, Tam McManus is going to be our next guest at the end of the month. Right, let's just check, since we've been on here, let's see how many tickets are left for the live show. See if any have been sold tonight. Let's look there. No, nothing's been sold. End of season party. We're still 14 tickets to go. 14 tickets to go. They may have been gone by the time this episode ends, but yeah, 14 tickets to go. We'd love to see you down there Friday the 3rd of May behind the wall for a big end of season party. Should be a good one. What else have got to plug? Yeah, merch. You can get merch.falkirkdaft.co.uk. Get on our Discord, by the way. All the links. It's Discord, if you don't know, it's like an app. It's like a forum. Lots of Annan supporters tried to infiltrate the Discord last night, so I had to kick them all out. I was just like, sorry guys, it's for Falkirk supporters only, but all these Annan supporters started piling on the Discord last night. So jump on our Discord. There's a lovely little community in there, a lot of banter. And by the way, shout out to Jamie Douglas, Texan Bairn, he's on there. And we've got Boston Bairn on there as well. Jamie was so enraged yesterday in his ranch in Texas. He sent us a picture of him and a tractor uprooting a tree stump because he was that angry after the last minute goal. He went out and took it out on a tree stump in his ranch in Texas. So great to hear. And we've got Bairns right across the world that listen. So hello to all you guys abroad. Drop us a line if you're somewhere far flung. We've got Texas, we've got Boston. I think we had someone in Malaysia. So let us know where you listen to the podcast. We'd love to hear from far-flung Bairns and give you a mention on the show. That is it for the episode though, so thank you very much for watching and listening. Anything to add at this juncture, Ross Wayne?
Other than expect unexpected, buddy, and as you said, let's hope for a big week.
Can't believe you got to meet Tam Laing.
I know, he smelled so good.
Ah.